Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a place that I honestly find absolutely fascinating. It's a region that has somehow pulled off the ultimate balancing act, holding fiercely onto its ancient, beautiful roots, while literally sprinting toward the future at the same time. We are talking about Riau, a true jewel sitting right in the middle of Indonesia's Sumatra Island. So let's jump right in and figure out exactly what makes this province such a vibrant, living tapestry of tradition and modernity.
But hey, before we look at the big picture, let me just ask you a quick question. For those of you who speak, study, or maybe have even just heard modern Indonesian, Bahasa Indonesia, do you actually know its true birthplace? You might naturally assume it started in the massive, bustling capital of Jakarta, or maybe the historic courts of Java. But the truth? The very foundation of the everyday communication used by hundreds of millions of people is rooted right here in Riau. The Riau Malay language is the historical ancestor of modern Indonesian. Talk about a massive cultural footprint, right?
So to truly wrap our heads around how Riau operates, we're going to structure our journey today around four interconnected pillars. First, the diversity of its people and language. Next, we'll look at the charm of arts and culture. Then, economy and technological innovation. And finally, religious harmony and tolerance.
All right, let's kick things off with pillar number 1. Diversity of people and language.
The whole foundation of Riau's demographics really starts with this beautiful contrast between two incredibly important groups. On one side, we've got the indigenous Malayu, the Malay people, who make up the majority. Historically, their lives have been defined by strong Islamic traditions and this deep connection to the maritime world. Then, right next door, we have the Minangkabau. Because they border Riau, they've brought in just an immense amount of social and economic influence over the years, especially with their unique matrilineal culture and their famous world-class expertise in trade.
But here's the thing. Riau's demographic story absolutely does not stop there. Over time, migration turned the province into a true melting pot. The Javanese people arrived, largely through transmigration programs, and layered in these rich agrarian traditions and incredible performing arts, like shadow puppetry. Then you have the Batak people coming in, bringing immense courage, agricultural expertise, and a fiercely strong community spirit. So when you look at Riau today, you aren't just seeing one culture. It's like a giant puzzle where Malayu, Minangkabau, Java, and Batak are all weaving their unique strengths together to build a single, functional society.
And, with all those different groups colliding, you get this amazing mix of languages. In Riau, there's this really profound local proverb: language reflects the nation. Preserving regional languages means safeguarding the nation's identity. So even though Riau Malay is the main thread tying everyone together, the local dialects of the Minang, Javanese, and Batak communities are actively spoken and kept alive today. For the people of Riau, linguistic diversity isn't some sort of barrier. No, it's seen as the ultimate protector of who they really are.
Which brings us nicely to pillar number 2, the charm of arts and culture. Let's see how these diverse people express their collective soul.
So, Riau is home to some of the most famous traditional dances in all of Indonesia. But the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that these are not just physical movements, they're actually deep philosophies of life translated into motion. Take Tari Zapin, for example. It's super dynamic, infused with Islamic nuances, and requires this lightning-fast footwork. Contrast that with Tari Makan Siri, which is an incredibly graceful dance used to welcome honored guests, acting as the ultimate symbol of respect. Tari Joget Lambak is this cheerful couples dance that's all about the joy of togetherness. And then there's Tari Payung, the umbrella dance, which is a beautiful visual metaphor for protection and love within a family. Literally every single step has a purpose.
And of course, you can't really have those highly expressive dances without the historic melodies of the Malayu earth to guide them, right? Riau's musical heritage is just captivating, largely driven by traditional stringed instruments and drums that have literally been played for centuries. The music just sets the daily rhythm.
Let's see how those melodies build into their vocal traditions. The province has given us some truly legendary regional songs. Soloram is a super beloved children's song that gently teaches values like friendship and dealing with the inevitability of parting. Lonchan Kuning is an epic tale about a legendary yellow boat, meant to symbolize maritime bravery. Chiksik Periuk is a joyful, really humorous song meant to be sung while playing. And Penyagi Dari Kampung celebrates the raw, natural talent and absolute simplicity of a village singer. These aren't just catchy tunes you hum along to. They act as an oral history and provide moral guidance for the next generation.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit to pillar number 3, economy and technological innovation.
We've seen the cultural soul, sure. But how does Riau survive and thrive economically today? Historically, and still to this day, the economic backbone here is incredibly robust. The province is one of Indonesia's largest hubs for palm oil plantations, providing thousands upon thousands of jobs. With its huge coastlines and massive rivers, both freshwater and marine fishing are absolute lifelines. Underground, Riau is incredibly rich in oil and gas, which drives a massive industrial sector. And tying the whole shebang together is a rapidly growing trade and services sector, ranging from your bustling traditional markets all the way to modern corporate enterprises.
But guys, this is where we completely smash the stereotype of a purely traditional province. Riau is remarkably adaptable. We aren't just talking about manual labor anymore. We're talking about smart farming, where local farmers are literally launching drones into the sky to monitor the health of vast palm oil crops. We're talking about connected fishing, where traditional fishermen are out on their wooden boats, but they're using modern network-linked sonar to detect fish. They're using internet connectivity to help local mom-and-pop shops sell their goods online to the whole country. It is just an awesome, brilliant fusion of ancient livelihoods and cutting-edge tech, a real game changer.
And finally, that brings us to pillar number 4, religious harmony and tolerance.
Now, I want to slow the pacing down a bit here, because honestly, all the economic growth and cultural richness in the world means very little without the social and spiritual glue that holds a dynamic province together. This beautiful mosaic of faiths isn't just an ideal in Riau, it's the everyday reality. While Islam is the majority religion, deeply intertwined with Malay traditions and historic mosques, it shares the landscape with stunning diversity. You've got sturdy Protestant and Catholic churches built by the Batak and Javanese communities. You've got beautiful Buddhist viharas utilized largely by the local Chinese descent population, and even Hindu temples serving their faithful. It is a literal mosaic of faiths existing in complete, respectful harmony.
So, how does that harmony actually play out in real life? It's all through the uniquely Indonesian concept of gotong royong, or mutual cooperation. In Riau, this community support scales up across all levels of life. At level 1, Basau Bonda, neighbors literally take turns working in each other's farm plots. Level 2, Tolong Menolong, the whole community will drop everything to voluntarily aid someone in an emergency, like if a house needs to be rebuilt. At level 3, Pekerja Sama, they pool their resources to build public infrastructure. And finally, Kenduri, which are these massive, collaborative village celebrations where everyone cooks and prepares food together. No one is ever truly alone in Riau.
So when you look at a peaceful traditional village blending seamlessly with the rivers and the trees, you now know exactly what's happening beneath those roofs. You know that it's a living, breathing model of balance. It's a place where a farmer might honor a centuries-old harvest dance in the morning and then check his crop drone data on his smartphone in the afternoon, all while being unconditionally supported by neighbors from entirely different backgrounds.
Which leaves us with this final thought for today's explainer. We've seen exactly how Riau manages to honor its past while aggressively adapting to its future, all held together by the unbreakable bond of gotong royong. So I'll turn the question over to you. How can we take Riau's incredible balance of tradition and modernity, alongside that powerful spirit of mutual cooperation, and actually apply it to our own communities today? Think about that as you go about your week. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this magnificent province. Keep exploring and keep learning.